Hey folks, Steve here. How you doing? I have reached a juncture. I have had a good summer. I have brought in some dollars, and I have been able to go out and kind of start grabbing a few kind of replacement tools for tools. I've actually had 2 tools die, so I replaced them. And I've rarely taken these 2 corded routers with me on a consistent basis because they don't have a home in the trailer. And I have a brand new corded 3.5 horsepower Milwaukee router, a woodpecker router plate. It doesn't have the lift on it, it's just the router plate. Those 2 in combination are ready to go, that in place, and then have a router table. I am in the market for another 3.5 horsepower router, identical router, and the woodpecker lift plate. Ideally, once I put those routers on the plates, I don't take them off. I would not need those 2 corded routers for any reason other than just basically imitating, emulating, repeating what Ron Polk has already done with his system over years and years and years. It works for him, so I know it's going to work for me. I don't have to try and test and figure out. He's already done all the hard work. All I had to do is just order the things. So I'm going to have those 2 other items coming. So that's 2 more routers, 2 plates. They'll be permanently mounted together, if you will, permanent. And they need to live somewhere, and they should live on the trailer since they would only be used with the smart station, and that smart station would be used on a job site. So I'm at a juncture in that I now have so many tools that they don't fit in the trailer anymore. There was one time that I made a bold and brash statement that with this trailer, because I was happily outfitting it, and it was, I think, done maybe a year into it, that, you know, yes, I would like a larger trailer, but I don't really need any more tools. I have all the tools I ever need. Right. Well, I proved that was not true. I continue to accumulate tools, not many, and oftentimes now it's just repeating a tool because it's nice to have more than one. In case of routers, I'll have 2 corded plunge routers ready to go. I have 2 cordless, one with a plunge, the other one is simply set up. All that stays on that thing is just a chamfer bit so I can round off edges of. So what do I do? Here's a possible answer that I'm exploring tonight, thus the nature of this video. As you can see, I have my 2 long drawers. Now this drawer here is about 4 feet long or so, maybe just a touch more, and this drawer is roughly about 6 feet long. And they're relatively full. I have this one emptied. I'm about ready to empty this one. Let me show you the inventory of the long drawer. So here's this long drawer. I can't remember the last time I actually emptied it, but I went ahead and vacuumed it, so it's all kind of nice and fresh. It has been relabeled recently. I think those labels are relatively accurate. And we could actually verify that because the entire inventory to that drawer is right here. So you can see what I carry. I have a push broom that I break down because it's easy to do so. I have a square tip shovel. I have a short D-handled pointed shovel, and I have a stone rake. Heavy duty tripod that I have only managed to successfully use once, but that was a major successful use of that one. Then in the bag, I have one of those pole assemblies that you can put a laser level on a pole that goes from floor to ceiling. And then I have a kind of a medium duty Bosch that is now my go-to for a tripod for my laser level. A variety of shims will live in there. That's just what's left over. I have to either make more or I have to go buy more because that is just notoriously a small set of shims. I have a collection of paddle bits for mixing whatever I need to mix. I keep an extra coil hose because I have air on the back of my trailer. Right now, that particular air gun is connected to a Flexzilla coil hose. If I need to work around the trailer and I want more coil hose, so that hose exists, so I could just patch in and continue to work around the trailer conveniently with a coil hose. Then you get to this conglomeration of plywood material, or plywood fixtures, and these are for crown molding. These 3 things right here, and you see the crown attached to them, these are crown installation tools. I have a number of blanks because crown is very different in many cases. That right there is a coping jig, so I can cope crown or other trim. These are crown stops that I would put on my miter box, and they will allow me to cut crown in place upside down backwards on my miter saw and know exactly what I'm doing. And I'm sure I have videos on me using either one or both of those at one time or another on exactly how to set them up. These were created by Mr. Criswell, created the idea of these corner jigs. You use these anytime you are making something that needs an interior 90-degree right angle. You just put them in. The the various notches there, and inside there are simply for clamping. And it also has kind of a lip that you can set on top of material. So that's everything that lives in that drawer. Most everything there has to go back in that drawer. The idea is when I'm on a job and I need something, that I have it with me. So I have a bit of a quandary here. The next drawer, which is only a 4-foot drawer, has other types of things in it. It has some clamps and a bunch of stuff. I'm about ready to take all of this out, inventory it, figure out what it is. There's only a couple things in there that I know that are temporary. I have a roll of kind of heavy rubber. Spare tire mounting system. Somewhere on the trailer I will mount my spare tire. That will all come out then. But it doesn't free up a lot of room because it wasn't in there to begin with. I just happen to have enough room to jam it in there. So once I inventory and lean out the best I can, the idea is that can I, between these two drawers, organize them in such a way that I can now have some space for some of these new tools? Ideally, if I could fit 2, 3, or 4 of these routers, that would be a big help. It would be possible. They would fit in these drawers if I can free up enough space. And I'm not complaining. You know, it's a blessing to have so many tools. I will tell you that every time. There's not very many options inside the trailer at this point for me to do anything else. These two drawers are kind of the drawers of last resort, if you will. So this is my Hail Mary for new tools that don't have to live in the aisle all the time, that I would like to have on board all the time and just know where they are. Worst comes to worst, they can live home, and then just pray that I remember to take them when I need them. We'll see. All right, second drawer is now unloaded and I've inventoried. Here's the drawer. That drawer is 47.5 inches of usable inside space, and it is 12 3/4 deep. Okay, so here's the inventory of that drawer. I have a roll of toilet paper. It's not extra of anything. I do have an extra roll of paper towels there. 4 sponges, dustpan, and the head of a broken broom that actually is really nice. Various cleaning things in there, some extra sponges, some magic erasers, a really stiff scrub brush, some scrubbies, and a couple of squeegees. A couple of buckets, lids for a couple of my Lowe's buckets inside the trailer, and I have a sealed in a Ziploc bag. I have some flatware knee pads, bolt cutters. Only 2 plumbing things in that drawer would be a small, like a bar sink plunger, and then my nemesis, the drain snake. I have not run that thing successfully 1 out of any 10 times. Over here, I have all of the base plates for my very small third hands, my medium set of third hands, and I do have, right beside my big drawer down there, I have a large set of third hands, though that's the really tall set. 36-inch Bessie clamp, and then I have demo tools. These are the demo tools I carry on board. Variety of flat bars, a crowbar, 3-pound small sledge, and then here are all my cold chisels for concrete. So that's what's in that drawer. Can't tell you last time I used bolt cutters, but again, it's nice to have a set of bolt cutters. And I know I always have them. You know, I don't have to remember the inventory on the label for that. I just know there are a few tools that I actually have. I have a lot of stuff, but I will say that in at least some cases, it is not excessive. It is things that I use on the job, whether it's every job or whether it's 1 job in 10. But it's nice to know that it's just riding with me. So what do I have and what can I do with it? Can I utilize this space somehow for my 2 older routers and 2 newer routers? And this is in part driven by my smart station now, because I have router tables that I will create for the smart station. It's not necessarily a problem for another day. This is going to help formulate a plan for me as I put all of this stuff away, then what I can, and maybe I can kind of cross-populate to take advantage of the space of both drawers. So I'm looking forward to the next few minutes of putting this all back and seeing what I can do to know that I can free up space or know that I can't. Well, I'm making a little headway in that I have managed to put more in this drawer than was there. So now I am including my short and medium set of third hands and my 36-inch Bessie clamps in here. I have thinned out the paddles. I've thinned out some of the crown materials. I have all of the third hand plates in here. Now the shims will go on top of here. My tripod is somewhere on top of this, maybe on top of the crown material there. This will still fit in. It'll just ride on top of everything. And I thinned that out of the drawer. And this material here, a little bit less to go back in that drawer, and I may be able to consolidate further. All right, well, I really ran out of daylight for filming. I can still see, but lights were necessary. So I actually got done. Freed up enough room for my 2 corded routers, my 2 older DeWalt's, to ride with me all the time at this moment. here's what I did. So there is a lot of cross-population of things that are in the short drawer are now in the long drawer. Over here, kept all the pails, and they are in the back. I downgraded to 2 sponges instead of 4. Here's the extra cleaning stuff with, you see the roll of paper towels. Down there is that little shallow pan, which is very convenient for plumbing, by the way, but it also holds a lot of just extra cleaning supplies, those sponges and things. The extra roll of toilet paper is there as well. Through the plunger back in, that's a useful tool, and I hate that snake, but there's that snake. Now, there, and I didn't even bother to take the guide off, but there are my 2 corded routers. Underneath that, down in there, you see, down in there I have my demo tools and cold chisels, and that's pretty much it. I believe I could fit a 3rd router in there, and I have, I believe, a drawer where I have kind of just random saw parts that I could very well organize that much better. It's always been a problem area, just never organized very well, and I had a video on that probably. But I believe I can put a router in there. So one of these corded routers would go in there, then the 2 with the plates on them, because those woodpecker plates would mount, like I say, permanently, because I would have no reason to take them off. So they will live on those routers, and those routers then would have to live with the plates, and that big plate would then be difficult to store anywhere else because I don't have the space Ron does. So I believe this drawer will be that drawer for those 2 routers with the plates embedded, and then maybe that 3rd router I could just leave that guide on. But I could take that fence off. That's not a problem. But I would have room. So I think I have done what I set out to do. Accidentally, I wasn't planning on doing it tonight, but it just worked out when I was putting it back to just do it. Okay, well, I'm running out of battery here, and I have completed my project there. Yay. I have a little bit more rearrangement to do, but that's for another video. Again, you all take care, and I will throw in my normal end of video stuff right after this. Well, you all have a great day because you deserve it. If you would please like and subscribe. It's a great way to say thanks. It's free to you and it helps the channel. Ring that bell if you want to get notified when I drop videos. And I hope you see me certainly on that next video. You all take care. And as I've been saying recently, as the handyman would say, goodbye.